Hello, I'm Brian with Metroline Driving Academy. This is part six in how to start a driving school. So let's talk about how to set up your business as far as advertising and as far as the website and as far as the cost of everything that you'll need to get started with as far as those things. I grew up with a computer background, so I do have some computer skills from previous jobs and previous career moves that I've made over the past. Um, so I'm decent with computers. So I chose the least expensive route to get my website up and running. And to be honest with you, it's been very cost effective. A lot of the websites out there, as you know, you being an entrepreneur yourself, um, have a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of different forms and way to do things, and that's all good. That's all good. And I may end up investing in something like that in the future. However, when I first started, to keep in mind this was over 4 years ago, and I just didn't know what to expect out of the business, and I didn't know what to really budget or kind of think about. So I chose a website, Wix, Wix.com. Feel free to look at their stuff. It's very inexpensive. They met my needs. So I was able to develop my own website and used a company called Book It Live. Uh, .com. I think they're out of actually Melbourne, Australia. I think somewhere in Australia, which they've been servicing me for 4 years. I haven't had any complaints whatsoever, and so I married the two together, so to speak, with the website. The student's parent will log in and make an account, which is their registration form, and it's basic stuff. Yeah, I want to keep it very simple for the parent and the student as well. I want to gain trust, so I don't load them down with a lot of um, different types of stuff that is irrelevant or is overkill. Okay, I just want to keep it very simple: name, address, phone number, age, like 14, 15, 16 years old. What school? I'd like to know what school, just for a simple fact of kind of knowing where who has. We have, like I said earlier in earliest video, a good number of high schools here, and I'd like to know where the majority of the students are going to school at. So that's beneficial. And then what class are you taking? Now I'm starting to offer a little bit of online class due to this type of year that we're having. Um, and then I'm offering a YouTube channel, my YouTube channel here, some classes and things of that nature. So I would like for them when they're signing their child up to put, and of course I'm offering here at my local classroom as well. Um, which class they're taking, what session, things like that. So they'll have to put that in the video. I mean, in the form. Sorry. Um, and then after they create the account slash registration form, they go. It'll link them to PayPal, which I use PayPal as my payment portal. And then once it goes to PayPal and they make their payment, my software will send them a confirmation number, and I'm pretty much they're finished with the process, and I know to expect their child in whatever session they signed up. Okay, so that's that in a nutshell. I spend very little on those two products as I married them together. Of course, there's the fees and things like that. They have to come out of PayPal and some any other payment portal that you use. Those vary obviously due to the volume of business that I do, or the lack of business in some cases. So I can't really tell you how much there to expect to take out, but it takes it out immediately. So it's not like you're really having to sit down and write a check or move money over. So it's a pretty simple process. So I've been doing this for 4 years, and to be honest with you, other than changing the class session dates and things of that nature, I haven't touched the website. I've let the website completely do its own thing. And for 4 years, it hasn't failed me. Uh, Hopefully, that'll continue. I haven't, needed much from them. Everything's automated. So, and I like it too. First of all, I get the money up front, and then also too, prior to me really uh, focusing a lot on the automated side, online side, I should say. I would get customers, parents call me and say, "Sign my son up for March session," and I'd say, "Okay," I'd sign him up, and I would be, uh, I guess you'd say, easy or flexible to the customer and say, "Okay, you can pay me when that first day of class," and when you know it, they wouldn't show up, and I would be expecting that money, maybe to pay the rent, maybe to put gas in the car for the next student or whatever the reason for that money. And sure enough, I had to find another avenue to get the money that I was expecting to get. So, about 3 of the last 4 years, I've been really hammering to do this process. Sign up online. It takes you to PayPal for payment, and then back to pay for PayPal, and then of course the confirmation email that they send. Now, some of these softwares, and they include Book It Live does as well, you can actually set up your drivers and their schedules pre advanced, and your student will get what's like a driving voucher. They'll send the email. Here in North Carolina, we have to have 6 hours. Let's say I get, you know, three emails. Let's say I signed my son up for driver's ed. I get 3 emails, and I can look at the drivers, and then say schedule whichever 2 hour session I want, which day and which time. That works great. However, the way I do it, I cannot do it that way. Maybe when I get more and more drivers, yes, and I'll be able to use that feature that Book It Live has. And then I would imagine most software companies have something similar. The reason I can't use that feature that I would love to is if I'm teaching at one school 30 miles away and another student would, let's say, from 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm driving a student at one school. Well, let's say that the next student that signs up is at another school 30, 40 miles away, and they sign up from 10 to 12. Well, I don't have enough time to go all the way 40 miles and get the next student. So I use Google Calendar and just manually put in. I know it's more time consuming, but this way, if that situation were to happen, and believe me, it does happen quite a bit, I allow myself an hour of drive time. And the student doesn't know it. They're coming in at 11 instead of 10. So from 8 to 10, I have one driver. From 10 to 11, I get to drive to the second student. And then I pick up the second student or meet the second student. Okay, so that feature, hopefully, I'll be able to use. It would save me countless hours the way I'm doing it, and because I teach at 5 schools, I hope to be 6 soon, in my local location. I would love to be able just to key in my schedule and let the parents pick whatever schedule they want. Because right now, the way I'm doing it, I know it's archaic and outdated, but I email the parent and back and forth trying to find the right dates and things like that. And there could be some confusion, and sometimes I overbook, sometimes I forget to write down the right times, sometimes the parents totally forget, and all kinds of mistakes and miscommunication can happen doing it the way I'm doing it. So hopefully your software will have that feature. Hopefully your software, you'll have enough drivers to where that won't be an issue. But due to the fact of the way I'm set up, I have to manually schedule each student, which is not the end of the world. It's just more time consuming. The last thing I want to discuss is advertising. Advertising, advertising, advertising. Word of mouth advertising is going to be your best bet. Okay, there's other forms that there's all marketing strategies and things of that nature that may have depending on your circumstance. Maybe you've got a marketing degree or advertising degree, and I have a lot of business. I've started two businesses, and I've got a business management degree and things of that nature. So I'm pretty savvy with business as well. I'd like to be more, but I'm pretty savvy. But what I've learned over the years, just put it bluntly to you, and save you money. Save you money. Word of mouth. Just like the YouTube algorithms, make sure you share the video, and it's word of mouth, okay? Um, Same thing. More or less, you make one customer happy, you make another customer happy, and they tell somebody else, and they tell somebody else. That's the best way. That way, the person's relaxed with you. They know you. They feel like they already know you because their neighbor or their friend or boyfriend, girlfriend has already used you. And so the parent says, oh, well, let's go to Metroline Driving Academy because, you know, your boyfriend knows them, has used them. Okay, and that's great. That's perfect. They call me, and their guard is let down just a little, and that way they feel like they know me personally already, and so then of course it lightens me up because hey, I'm getting residual business, referral business, and of course that helps me out in the bottom line. Okay, so and to be honest with you, that is good advertisement. One of the things I've done before is I've used social media, um, and I've developed this like social media page, and I don't really do a lot to it, but when I would do for the first 3 years until I built it up, um, I would when my students, like I told you in previous videos, they have to have 30 hours of class and 6 hours of driving. When they completed it, I would have them maybe take a quick little snapshot, just very informal, maybe stand in front of the car or something of that nature, just a quick little snap, and then post it on the social media page, and then the parents would go and like it and share it, and grandma's happy that their grandson finished driver's ed or whatever. Their aunts and uncles are proud of them, and maybe their uncle says something, stay off the sidewalk, something funny, little post or something like that, and they share it, and it kind of snowballs and builds that way. And that's been my big advertisement too. Due to Corona and things like that, this stuff we're in, I haven't done that lately. I've just been laying low with it. That's one huge advertisement because if you got a student and they've got two grandparents, the parents, they all share it, and they share it, and they share it, and then a couple of the friends, and and then what happens is um, their friends say, "Oh, well, you use this guy, Metrolina," and then they tell their parents, and their parents call the first parents, and lo and behold, that's where I get my referrals. Not all of them, just word of mouth is the main one, but this one does help. Um, then the then I advertise some with that social media page. I used to. Now that I've built up now, I don't advertise once again as much, but I advertise. I set the parameters, local area within 30 miles or so. Um, but also too, you could advertise if you do that. We're out with the social media, then depending on the competition level that you face, you might expand it out. I think I got 20 miles or 30 on mine when I do advertise. I already have it programmed, and I always try to do the young students like 14, 15, 16, and also the parent's age. So I try to do a whole gamut of things because I want my advertisement to be seen for social media through the students and the parents. What my point there is if I'm hoping that the student clicks on the advertisement, goes to my website, and they start doing some investigation, then they share this with their parents, and the parents read up all the qualifications needed, and now I've got a student. That's been a highly effective way to advertise. And then you can set the CPMs to whatever you want to pay and things like that. Um, you could do a whole lot, a whole little. You could do just make whatever advertisement campaign you want. Of course, there's YouTube, you know, Google, and some others that you could do. Make sure you're on Google Listing. There's a form that you fill out there where you can be like if they key in driver's ed schools near me, and it'll kick you up to the the thing. I wouldn't invest the listing. I wouldn't invest a whole lot of money on um, worrying about whether you're the top page or the bottom page, the top of the Google search, because that person who Googles you or uses some type of search engine, they're looking for a specific area. They're looking for the most convenient area. No offense to anyone, it doesn't really matter to me if someone out of state sees me and be in the top page. They can't use me anyway. So if you're like with us here, I'm one of the top however many schools that they are um, as far as the listing, and that's all I need because they'll call around a lot of it. They'll call around and find out the prices, find out the list session dates and stuff, and they'll determine at that point. But as far as the list for Google or some other search engine type websites, I wouldn't spend a lot of money on it. You can you can, however, not sure it would be worth it. I've had advertisements I've tried before. People have called me and I have given in and realized that if someone on the west coast of the United States sees me, okay, they see me, that's great. That will only affect me if they know somebody in my local 30, 40 mile area. And I know that's kind of being myopic as far as the area. However, that's all I can do. My license, unless I go to another state and open up a business, my license is only for this state here in North Carolina. Um, so, and that's nothing wrong with that. I enjoy what I'm doing. But, unless I go open up another business in South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, wherever, um, it's good that somebody from Oregon saw me, West Coast, great, but it doesn't really affect me. So keep in mind that. Also, too, it's not like e-commerce where you won't keep sell, 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 sell. You got the lot here in North Carolina, 36 hours per student, which is the class and the 6 hours of driving. Okay, so you know, yeah, you could get more and more sales, but there's only 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. So there's only the same number of days you have now as you do, you will if you start this business. So you've got to learn how to pace yourself. There's certain, over the summer, great, you can do really well. But if you can't service your customers, you don't have enough time in the day, then those customers are going to get frustrated with you. Then they're going to start bad mouthing you. And then remember word of mouth I just mentioned. Now instead of having a favorable word of mouth, you're going to have a poor word of mouth. And that's not going to be healthy for you either, because then you'll see sales diminish, and then you're going to wonder why. And then you're going to have time, but then you won't have any customers. So it's a kind of a balancing act. All businesses really is the same thing, but with that said, I'd like for you to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you in part 7. Thank you very much.